Hi, I'm Saloni Sapale, and you're listening to Just Baatein.
Hey guys, welcome back to Just Baatein. My name is Aswin. It's another Sunday, which means it's another podcast. It's been a long time since we have had back-to-back podcasts, but here we are. Of course, I have Praatibh alongside with me. Praatibh, it's a Thursday afternoon. Is there any chance that your internet is going to hold up today?
I really hope it does. I think as soon as our guest joined, I was already experiencing a little bit of lag. But yeah, fingers crossed. And yeah, you guys are lucky because we don't generally roll out back-to-back Sunday episodes. So that's a rarity on this channel. But yeah, we have a very special guest with us today. How I like to describe her is that she has the power to look into the future. She's a woman international master in chess. She bakes, and there's a lot more stuff that she does, but we don't know. Hence this episode. We're very pleased to have with us Saloni Sapale. I hope I pronounced the surname right. And hi, Saloni. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, hi guys. I'm really excited to be a part of this podcast. I'm really appreciative of the work you do. So, first of all, congratulations for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so. Now, before we ask you the absurd amount of questions and pick your brains on the little things, the little chess that both of us know is from YouTube, and that's how we started playing chess also. So, we just wanted to ask you if you do follow any chess streamers or YouTubers.
Actually, not very frequently because, like I have a lot of work, not just of chess and other, but I enjoy when chess players themselves stream. So,
Yeah.
in the lockdown, a lot of, there was a boom in the streaming
Yeah.
zone. So then people, grandmasters like Vidit Gujarati, and then other people also started doing it. So I did follow like many of them, but not very regularly, I'd be honest.
One of the chess streamers I think both of us follow is Hikaru. I
Yes, yes.
think he streams on Twitch, but he has regular videos rolling out on YouTube.
He's amazing, no doubt.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
it truly is.
Now, Saloni, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into chess and how early was it that you were introduced to chess?
Okay, so I was 7 years old when I started playing chess, and for some that might be incredibly young, but people who play chess know that it might be kind of late because there are extremely young people starting at a very young age to play chess. I started playing chess because of my father. He was an intercollegiate champion, and he used to play with friends, and that is how I, saw the game. Like whenever his friends used to come, he used to play, and I used to really get interested in it because it's the shape of the pieces, and it's very peculiar and very interesting. So I used to ask him, can you teach me? And then he taught me, and then of course I lost very, very badly, and then. Yeah, my parents enrolled me in a chess class because they thought that I have interest. And then I think I practiced for like 2 months or so. And then I participated in my first district championship under 7. And then I won that. So after that, there was no looking back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a really, I think for both of us, I think starting at 7 is really young because I think, someone who's not sort of already having some kind of chess background, as in your case, I think we just sort of hit the chess things like carom. But yeah, I think, and you also spoke about how the shapes intrigued you. So our next question was actually going to be, what about chess attracted you the most that time? Was it like the patterns and everything? And or is there any particular thing that
There's a very funny story behind this. So I was actually a swimmer as well. I used to do state level swimming, and I used to do that along with chess. So I was not only a chess player, and I used to do that till I was like 9 years old or so. And then at a point I got very exhausted. Like every day my parents used to see me, I'm doing chess practice, then I'm doing swimming practice. And when you do swimming at a certain level, there's a lot of energy and exercise involved. And you must have done swimming, I'm sure, and it is really exhausting. So to do both of them together, my parents were like, no, this is too much, because I used to fall asleep at home without even having dinner many times. So then they're like, okay, what do you want to do? I was very young to choose, but they just wanted to at least give me the option. Okay, you can choose what you can do. So the funny story is that in swimming, when you win, you get medals, and when you win in chess, it's mostly a trophy. And then for an 8 or 9 year old, of course, a trophy is more attractive. So
Fair,
that is
yeah.
how I chose chess. But I have no
Wow.
regrets. I really enjoy.
The fact that you have no regrets is great. I mean, you're right. As a kid, I mean, even now I would choose trophies over medals any day. So you got your Women's International norm in 2018 at Barbara
Yes, the
International.
title, title, yes.
Right, the title. And so my question was, you had to, I think, get a draw to get a title, at least get a draw in that particular
Yeah,
match.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
And so during the match, so because of that consequence, during the match, did you have that in the back of your mind that you had to at least get a draw?
Oh, definitely. Like, I'll not even deny it. It's like a scary, nerve-wracking experience because, so I'll tell you, I completed my title in 2018,
Hmm.
but I completed the first two norms in 2017, which was almost
Right.
a year ago, like exactly a
Hmm.
year ago, in fact. And I was in a very good form in 2017. So, you have certain expectations of yourself, considering your playing style and strength, and I really expected myself to complete it in 2017. But unfortunately, I had some, missed chances, and
Hmm.
I just wasn't able to do it. So in 2018, I was playing the tournament, and it was the last round, and I knew that if I make a draw, it's there, it's right in front of me. But then, you get this realization, oh, it's in front of you, and then that is where you get
Yeah.
little, nervous. But then the beauty of playing a sport or anything for that matter is like it teaches you a lot of patience and grit and determination and the ability to be really calm in very
Right.
tough places. So I tried to, take it just move by move and not take it as a whole experience. And luckily, it was a draw. So yes, I did it.
That's great that you did it. But so you did it, the match got over. What's the next thing that you did? How did you
Immediately
feel? And
after,
yeah, immediately after.
so I remember this very clearly because, of course, these things don't, go away so
Yeah.
easily. They're just a part of your memory. So I completed the match. I was in Barcelona, Spain, and there's this bench outside the tournament hall. I
Hmm.
actually played the same tournament the previous year, so I knew the
Right.
locality and
Hmm.
everything. So there's this particular bench, and then the whole thing is very scenic, like not extremely beautiful or anything, but it's
Hmm.
very scenic place, very calm place. So I just sat there by myself in the garden, and I clearly remember smiling, and then I just enjoyed the moment, and then I went and I talked to my relatives, my coaches, because of course you have to call them and
Yeah.
tell them,
Yeah.
but I took a moment to myself and I just relished the moment. Yeah.
That is great. I think that's a learning for us too, because when, like, for example, when we record this or when we record episodes with another guest, the next thing we do is roll out the episode or start editing. We don't actually stay in the moment. So that's something to learn from. That's nice.
Yeah, otherwise, the thing is, you work so hard to do something, and then it is really good that you want to stay motivated, do the next thing. But
Right.
what about the thing that you're already doing? You should,
Right.
cherish it. It happened. You did a really great job, so you might as well enjoy that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that you make, especially in the world we live in today. Everything is so fast paced, and everyone's just looking to go to the next goal, which also brings us to our next question. Talking about goals, I mean, even in tournaments and everything, what is your general mindset towards a tournament, and how do you measure how well you're doing? Do you measure it in terms of your ratings, or like how do you know if how is it going?
So, the kind of mindset I have for every tournament as a general thing is the same, but it also depends tournament to tournament. So,
Hmm.
if I'm playing something, where I can fight for the championship, for example, like if I'm playing a world championship or Asian championship, national championship of my age category, where I'm
Hmm.
targeting the championship, then it will be like the overall mindset won't be very different, but it will be slightly different. So, or in the other cases where I have to score norms or increase my rating to get the next title, then it will be a little different. Like in these tournaments, you look for increasing your rating, as I said.
Right.
So in positions sometimes where you know that okay, you might take this risk, it might work, might not work. So
Hmm.
you play it a little safe, like not very safe, But especially in the other case, if it's a championship, then you might take the risk, because if it works, then you're going
Yeah.
ahead, like
Right.
in with
Yeah.
respect to the field. So I think that is there, but mostly it is of staying incredibly calm, because chess is a game. So people think that it might not be taxing and
Mm-hmm.
exhausting because we don't physically move around. People don't see us,
Right.
say for tennis, for example, they're actually moving around for 6 hours,
Yeah.
which is great. It's awesome. But chess, being a mental sports, is it's equally exhausting. Like, to maintain that kind of energy and have that kind of output all the time, it's really, really exhausting. And I am still a WIM, but if you ask someone, who's a super GM for that matter, they'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay, this is nothing. So it just goes ahead.
Right.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the whole thing is, I just stay patient. I take one game at a time, not the whole tournament, because the more you break it into smaller steps, the easier it is for you to handle. And then you don't want to pressurize yourself, because the best you can do is just be in the moment, as I said. That's
Mm-hmm.
the best thing, because it doesn't stress you out for, what will happen. Oh, next round I'm going to play against this player.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be like, okay, next round. No, I'll think about it that time. I'll just focus
Right.
now. So it's more or less that.
It's very interesting how you talk about staying in the moment, because chess can be a very addictive sport, right? Especially because, like you said, it's a lot to do with how you think, so it can be very addictive. So has it ever reached a point for you where it's become almost borderline obsessive? Or how do you balance chess, your hobbies, education? How have you been handling that?
Oh, hmm. So it's been a crazy journey, very honestly. And I won't say I've been obsessed with chess, because I mean, obsessed can be a healthy thing also, but I'll
Yeah.
just say that I've always had a very healthy relationship with chess. Of course, when I was younger, when I used to lose, I used to feel extremely bad. And that any child, when he or she
Yeah.
loses, they experience that sadness. But over time, you grow and you learn how to cope with it. And, you just take the good parts and then you use it in the next round. So it's always been like that. About balancing, it's been really a crazy journey. Crazy is the correct word. So till seventh or eighth standard, I used to play, but not very regularly, and I used to only play till like the nationals.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I used to regularly start playing in the international events. So after that, there was so much of traveling. I have to go out repeatedly, and then I was always a I'll take the liberty and say I was a good student in school and in college as well.
Of course.
And I did have good grades. And I really liked studying. So that was a bonus for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just give you an example. Like if I'm preparing for a tournament, I used to play the tournament, I used to come back. I used to be jet lagged, of course. So I'd take a day or maximum two off, and then I used to get back to studying. Usually I used to come in time for my exams, give my exams, done, prepare for the
Right.
next game, then go. And this cycle has been going for,
Wow.
I think, 7 years, 7, 8 years. Yeah.
Oh my god. I think I don't know about Praatibh, I can speak for myself. We were once ambitious cricketers.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
nice.
after a weekend of playing sport, I take a week off to get back into studying. Oh wow, that is
That's
that
good.
is something. So for the last 7 years, this has been your cycle?
Yes, yes. And
That's
okay,
insane.
a lot of credit for that is also to my family, because since this been going on for 7 years, so that's around like 2014-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were in
Yeah, yeah.
2021. Yeah. So the last family vacation I had with them, like a proper vacation of say even 2 weeks as such, has been in 2014, not after that.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, that's a really long time. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's about time you take a holiday though.
No, I
Really.
have had like a day off, 2 days off, but
Mm-hmm.
it was only with, to myself or just in the house, just chilling.
Right.
But, vacationing is when you go to a place and you
Yeah,
just relax
that's true.
and
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
Mm.
But that never happened. Work was always there.
Cool. So, first question we have is one stereotype people have about chess players, or even a stereotype people might have about you.
About me,
Yeah.
I'll answer for both.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
So, a stereotype might not be always negative. It can be like
Yeah,
it
Yeah,
can
yeah.
just be a belief for that matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, that chess players are always patient. But that's not the case outside the
Interesting.
game.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
on board we are really patient, that I agree 100%, but off the board I have seen so many chess friends of mine
Right.
and myself, I am not patient at all. Like take and I'll be very honest because there's nothing to hide. Like if I'm driving on the road and if there's like a signal and people are not moving, I'll be the first person to honk. Like, why are you not moving? So very honestly, that is the case. And stereotype people have about me is like, when I play, I tend to have a poker face for that matter. Like I try not to be intimidating, but people think I'm
Right.
intimidating because of that.
Okay.
But okay, you converse with me right now. Do you think I'm intimidating?
Not at all.
Not at
So
all.
yeah, maybe that.
Maybe they need to watch this episode to find out that she's not
Yeah.
intimidating.
No,
But
actually, I just have a poker face because it's better. It's just a thing where you don't want your
right.
opponent to read what's going on in your
Right.
mind, or if if you're scared in a really difficult position. So that's the intention, not to scare the opponent, but okay.
Are you good at that? Are you good at reading the players who's in front of you?
Not like I don't think anyone can like 100% get it
Right,
because of
of
course
course.
that's a different person. You can't. And okay, I've completed my graduation in psychology, and even then I think that it's not possible because it's a different person.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you can get certain hints, like if they are getting really unstable or getting very shaky or something like that. But most of the players who are professionals, they know how to compose themselves. So
Now, what's the ideal environment you'd want to play chess in? What's your ideal environment? It can be anything. It can be on top of a mountain or in your room, anything.
I'd actually like to play chess in the Himalayas.
Uh, okay, now before we go to the next question on the psychology thing itself, do you think that has helped you somewhere in terms of being able to read your opponents better?
Not in that sense, but otherwise, yes, definitely. Because psychology is not just about understanding others, it makes you
Right.
also self aware about how
Right.
you are
Yep.
thinking and how your mindset is. So, in that way, I've always been able to calm my nerves and just, be very, very composed. Like,
Okay.
you understand that you're getting very panicky at
Okay.
times.
Okay.
And then when you get that sensation, this education has really helped me to, okay, just come back down to
Right.
normal, breathe in, breathe out, and it's normal. And then with respect to opponents, as I said, it's not very easy to read into their minds because you can do that when you're talking to someone, but you can't talk over the board, of course. So the most you can get is through their body language and the cues, likewise. But other than that, no, I have not had that experience.
Okay. And okay, so the next question we have is, have you met any of your idols through various chess tournaments? And if yes, what was that like?
Okay, so of course, for many, many players, not just Indian but otherwise too, Grandmaster Vishwanathan Anand sir has been the biggest idol.
Yeah.
And it was not in a tournament, like he wasn't playing in a
Okay.
tournament, of course, because he's an elite Grandmaster, but he had come there for like the prize distribution ceremony. And then I had a photo with him as well. This was when I was really young. But then, cut to a few years ago, there was a felicitation program where all the title players of Maharashtra were being felicitated by Sir. He was in Maharashtra at that time, in fact,
Right.
in Pune. So that was a much more, when I was mature and he could actually. I was a WIM by that time, so at least I had something to my name, if not anything. So that was a much more a better experience, I'd say. So yeah, it was a wonderful memory. I mean, he's so down to earth, and you can see the way in which he conducts himself, a true world champion, like really.
Yeah.
That is great. I think even for us who are non-chess players, I
Yeah,
think it will be one of our dreams to meet him. In a match, are there times when you lose focus, and what do you do to bring back that focus?
a lot of times it does happen because it's just human nature. Like
Right.
even though you like something a lot, you can just get lost in your thoughts sometimes, and that can happen. It's natural. Most of the times I'm singing something in my mind, so that's how I lose focus. And like when I'm preparing before going to the game, I don't always listen to music, but sometimes I do just to chill. And then that song just gets stuck in my head, and I just sing that during the game. But then you realize, oh, you're singing, what are you doing? You have to play chess. So then I just bring myself back to the game. And sometimes it just so happens that even when I'm calculating in the current game, I just over calculate. Like it's not even necessary, and then you lose sight of the actual position. Like the thing you're thinking of might not actually even happen. So
Right.
even that is a distraction, not in the dual sense of distraction, but like sort of.
Mhm.
So for that also, I just breathe in and breathe out.
Mhm.
That is my go-to thing. Because the moment you are back to normal and having a not panicky state, you're just in a good place, I feel.
You spoke about how you listen to songs. Is that one way that you'd say you get into sort of a zone, like before a chess match? Is that a kind of ritual that you have?
No, like that's not something I do always, but I meditate before the game.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
Okay.
wow. Right. Mhm.
I personally have this thing. I won't say a ritual, but I like to go a lot of time before the other players come in the hall. So what I do is, say for example, if the match is at 3 p.m., I'd like to go at say 2:45, 2:40, and then I just go and I sit there and I like to feel the feeling of the empty hall, because it gives me a lot of calmness and I just
Mhm.
feel really nice. That environment, I just basically take in the environment. That
Mhm.
is the best thing I can explain. And I like to see how people come. I'm a very observant person, so I like to see how everyone is coming, how they settle down into their chairs, and every player has a thing they do. Like
Right.
it might not be superstitious, it just might be something they like, but they just do something. There are some peculiarities, and I think it's very sweet because it makes them the person they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like to observe that. And then about the meditating part, around 10 minutes before the game, I just close my eyes and I just chant just something to calm myself down. And I think that gets me in the zone because it really makes me focused towards the board. And I like to do it at the board because then when I open my eyes, the first thing I see is the board I'm going to play on. So it
Oh,
channels my
right,
energy.
right. Well, that's very interesting.
I think it's very nice. Like I have a very good feeling about it. And of course you do what makes you feel good, right? So yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
of course, yeah. What was that one toughest situation you faced in the few years, that a lot of years that you've had playing chess? What's that one situation you look back on?
So it was 2015. I was in Thailand. It was World Schools Championship, and it was the final game. And in the tournament, I was the 14th seed, but I was playing incredibly well because my strength and my rating did not match at that time. I was underrated at that time. So it came as a surprise, when an underdog really performs well. It was that
Right,
kind of
yeah.
a scenario. And I was doing that, and in the last game I was playing a higher rated, and I knew that if I win this, I'm sure shot getting the silver medal, which is a huge thing because you're
Hmm.
playing at the world level. And of course, so there was this situation in the game where I had to sacrifice my exchange. So there's this concept: if you sacrifice a rook
Hmm.
for the knight, like your rook for the knight, so your
Yeah,
rook is essentially more valued than the knight, but you sacrifice it for the
right.
necessity of the game. So that was there. And now I might do it very confidently, but back then, 6 years ago, I was not as experienced as I was now. So I'm really proud of the decision I made back then because I showed the guts that were needed. Like as I said, now I'll be more experienced and very
Hmm.
calm while giving it, but at that moment I was shaking. I was like, hey, shit, will it work?
Right.
So okay, but then it worked and I'm happy it did. And I really enjoyed that game. And it so happened that if I had won that game, I didn't even have to wait for the others results. I was sure I was going to get the silver medal.
Right.
So at that moment, I also remember I won the game and then I signed the score sheet and I was walking out of the hall, and I remember smiling even then. So I
Hey.
think smiling is my thing.
Yeah, that's so wholesome. But what made you do it though? Was it the instincts that took over, or was it the risk
The
factor that?
sacrifice.
Yeah.
It was just I am myself a very attacking player. Like I like to play tactical
Right.
positions more than strategic positions. So usually you have that, you tend to think in a particular way because of your playing
Hmm.
style. So because of that also I got that idea. But otherwise, also, I was just in a very good place in the tournament. Like the entire hall, the place I was staying, it was such a good vibe that I can never forget. That's one of my best tournaments. Like after that, I even completed my title, which of course, if you you can't compare, but even then, the title is much higher. But in even then, the tournament holds a very special place in my heart because after that, a lot of good things happened. My game significantly improved. So yeah.
That is great. And maybe yes, smiling is your thing. While Praatibh introduced you, he also said that you bake. And for those of you listening or viewers watching, you own Brownie Heaven. So what is that and how did you come up with it? Why did you think that you had to start something like this?
The Brownie Heaven was a product of a lot of thinking. I love cooking and I
Mm-hmm.
love cooking for others more than I do for myself. And I really like food in general. I've traveled a lot and I've
Mm-hmm.
tasted many different cuisines, and I have a special love for all of them, honestly. There's not a single cuisine that I didn't like. So
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to spread that love of food to everyone. And whenever I was in town for my tournaments, baking or cooking was my go-to thing to just, let the stress out, like chill. And I did it a lot of time for my friends and family. And my brownies were one such recipe that everyone absolutely loved. Like they really enjoyed them. And so, of course, cut to 2 years, no, like 1 year back in March,
Mm-hmm.
we had COVID, the whole country and the world. And
Mm-hmm.
then you all know what happened.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
think also I had to complete my graduation. I did that last
Mm-hmm.
year. So I was occupied with that also till like October, November last year. And after that, I was like, okay, what now? Because I was still doing my practice. But I really wanted to do something of my own because when you own a business, it makes you feel a little empowered, if not
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And that was also one reason why I started it. But to be very honest, the primary reason is to just spread the love of food. And like people like my brownies, and I was like, why not? I want to make other people eat them. Like you also
Yeah.
enjoy. So yeah, that was the thing.
That is such a sweet story of why you started it. Oh my god. But does cooking and baking, like you said, that it helps you relax, does it help you take your mind off things, take your mind off chess, your problems personally or
Definitely. I just so it takes a certain amount of time to say bake one batch of brownies, and
Mhm.
in that time I don't know how the time goes. I'm just in that zone and I just start doing my thing, and I don't even realize that I've not been thinking anything until I'm done. Or maybe I just sing songs and I get done with it. But I just like doing it. Like yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I've got such nice reviews. People have been so kind and supportive of the venture. And it's just crazy in a nice way. Like I just want to expand it in whatever way is possible, and I hope people keep liking it. I'm introducing new flavors and everything also. So it's just basically about brownies. It's
that's
no other thing.
that's
But
that's
yeah.
awesome. Prathip, I'm going to put you on spot here. This wasn't planned, but this is your chance. What's the best thing you can cook, dude? What's the best thing you can cook?
You know, funnily enough, if we hadn't had a lockdown, I would have said Maggie right now. But because I had to go back to college, and then we had a lockdown again, so I actually learned a little bit of cooking. So I think I can cook like paneer and bhindi sik sauteing and
That's
everything.
really good.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I
That
think any life skills, whenever you learn, it's just
Yeah.
amazing because
Yeah.
that is one
that's
thing
true.
I learned in my chess journey. Like, you need
Yeah.
to learn to do the bare minimum for yourself at least so that you can
Definitely.
adjust
Yeah.
anywhere, no matter the place. You can manage, your whole thing, like your routine and everything. And it makes you feel very independent in a very
True.
nice
Yeah.
Yes,
way.
yes,
You
yeah.
both must have had that experience now,
Yeah.
or that, okay, because of lockdown, you didn't,
Hmm.
like, you couldn't go to your colleges, but
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think about that?
Oh, that's true. The first few years when I was, no, the first year when I was in college, when I could cook for myself, yeah, I felt very independent. It was great,
Yeah.
yeah. So you started this business of yours, the Brownie
Right.
Heaven. And I'm sure in between you had a lot of things going on. Did people ever tell you that you shouldn't be doing this or shouldn't be doing that because
Oh
it might
yeah.
distract you?
Oh
What
yeah.
was that conversation like? What did you tell them? How did you feel?
My parents have always been supportive of this venture. The whole thing is that there were no negative comments as such. Like people weren't, oh, why are you doing this? Not good and everything. It was never like that. It was not very, very negative. But it's just that, as I said, I've been good at studies. I play a game that is, a mental game. So people have, like, they start making these beliefs, or they have a thought about you. Like, this person might do things in a certain way. So because of that, people, and many close people, in fact, see me doing something that is intellectual or something that requires more mental effort than physical
Right.
effort. But brownies are, of course, they are more physical effort because you have to bake them and all of that. So I've had questions on that line, like, how did you get into this? First of all, they're surprised because this part about me, this my liking for food and baking and cooking, not everybody knows. It's only for my friends
Oh.
and family, like really, really close ones. And that is why even to my relatives, it was a big surprise. So like, oh, you're opening a venture. And because since they didn't even know that I had the love for cooking, they're just like, you're opening a shop, like no in between. Going.
Right.
So that was a funny thing, but I took it in a good spirit. I just told them, ki, yeah, I really like doing it. And there's nothing like, starting something of your own. I realized that. And it's been not a lot of time, honestly. I just started it recently, but seeing the kind of response I got, it's crazy. And it is so nice that people have been so supportive. And because of that, my confidence increased. And then seeing how my business is working, the people also were like, oh, you're doing really good. So it was a really good thing, basically. Confidence enhancing.
That's really nice, and it's really inspiring as well because so even I have a younger sister, and even she really enjoys baking, but she
Oh,
never
that's
watches
nice.
never watches our episodes. So I think this episode I'll probably get her to watch, and
I
yeah, I
wish
think it'll be
lots
great
of
for her.
good luck to your sister.
Yeah.
I think she's already awesome. She likes cooking.
Now you spoke about how everyone's been supportive around you. Could you tell us who's been your biggest support system? I think we already know, but just if you could tell us.
My parents, for sure, and my sister. Yeah. Because as I told you, I'll give examples of both. So when I'm doing chess or when I've been playing tournaments, because of this pandemic, I wasn't able to go out anywhere for the last year. But otherwise, I told you my routine, how it was. So as a family, even they had to be really strong and adjusting, because I had to go, I had to travel. Sometimes I used to go travel alone. Sometimes I used to go with my, like, either of my parent. And then in that case, my mom or my dad, whoever's come with me, the other person is staying here with my sister.
Right.
Because of course you can't always go together. It's not economical, especially when you're pursuing a sport. You have to save as much money as you can, and that's very realistic thing to do. So in that case, and sometimes my tours were as long as 3 months. So I used to be outside for that amount of time.
Right.
So a special shout out to my sister Sanya. I love you. Because she really adjusted a lot. Being younger, you really want your parents to be with you, your sister to be with you. But she really understood the thing I was doing. And she took it in such a nice way. She never complained, you're not there for me or something like that. And that was very mature of her at that age. And of course, my parents have been a big pillar of strength. You really need people close to you in tough situations, but you understand the importance, not just during that, but also when you are very happy and you have someone to celebrate it with you. Like people always talk, okay, I was at a low, that is why these people were there. But what about the happy situations? Even they were there at that time. And that is equally important. So yeah, these three people, and of course my friends and other family, but these three people are like my pillar of rock. Yeah.
That's a really interesting perspective that you've given us, because yeah, I think we often measure how supportive someone's been in terms of when they were there for us while we were low, but as you said rightly, who's there when we're celebrating our success. So yeah, I think that's a really nice way to put it.
Because why do you have to always see things in a negative light? I like to see things in a very positive light. It just makes you very happy. And why not have happy memories?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, last question from my side. Future plans with Brownie Heaven and chess.
So I'm a person who doesn't like to think like very long term because that stresses me out. Earlier, I used to do that, and sometimes things don't work out the way you want to, and it's only natural. Like you want things to go a particular way, but anything might be in store for you. So when that used to not align my expectations and the reality, that was sort of like a source of stress. So I just resorted to planning short-term goals. So very in that perspective, I'll tell you my short-term goal for chess is to complete my women grandmaster title. I've already completed my rating. I need 3 norms. So I hope whenever situations are better and I can travel and play, I complete that soon. And with respect to Brownie Heaven, I don't know if you can consider this as a goal, but in a general sense, I'm launching like 2, 3 new flavors sometime soon. So I hope they work well and the
Yeah,
existing
of course,
business
that's a
too.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah, and in general, I just hope people enjoy the dessert that I'm making, because okay, they are my customers, and in like the economical way you can think that, but what I'm also building are people relations. I'm connecting with so many people. I have learned so many things from this business in just a span of a month and over a little month over the month, and that has been great, and I look forward to that as well, of learning life skills that are essential not just for a like the brownie business, but in general any business for that matter. It's been
That
amazing.
we genuinely hope that your flavors work well, but you also get your WGM soon. Now, this is how we have started to end our podcast by asking this question: are you a coffee or a tea person?
Oh, genuine. Oh, tricky question. Because I'll tell you, I am a big time coffee lover. But recently, I don't know why, I started liking tea.
Good. Yes.
But I'm still a coffee person. Like I'll say I'm a 80% coffee lover, 20% tea lover.
I like
But
that answer. At least the tea is growing on you, so that's great.
I'm very peculiar about my tea. Like if it doesn't have ginger, I'll not drink. So yeah, but it's not about coffee. I can have any coffee. If it's black coffee, if it's
Oh,
any
okay.
coffee.
Oh,
So I
okay.
really like it.
But at least there's some positive that the tea is growing on
I'm
you.
sensing you're a tea person and you're really beautiful. What about
Yeah.
you, Praatibh?
I think more of a tea person. Uh, yeah, I think 60-40 or 70-30 in favor of tea.
So even you are like both.
Yeah, I don't mind.
But yeah,
But
this
see, because of that, y'all are here, and of course,
yeah.
Yeah.
you have such an amazing friendship. I hope you guys stay friends till you're like old
Yeah.
and have
Yeah.
white hair. And no, I really like your podcast. I've listened to a couple of episodes and it's been great. All the best. You
Thank you so much.
Thank you so. I think this has by far been the most wholesome episode where I've smiled so
Yeah,
much.
definitely.
And I think that's because of you and your
how
stories and
sweet.
how kind you've been. I think it's been 50 minutes, and thank you so much
Oh
for those
really?
50 minutes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't understand. I just had a fun time talking to you.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say it's been 50 minutes, but I think I could talk to you for a long, long time. But because of the time constraint and the episode,
No
we
problem.
have to end it here. Thank you so much, Saloni, for joining in. It's been great. Like, I've had so much fun throughout this episode, just listening and asking you questions and seeing that smile on your face because it brings a smile on my face. Guys, if you want to check her out, we'll put her Instagram in the description below. You guys know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Sunday is a podcast with guests from all around the world and all walks of life. Wednesday is a cricket episode. Saturday is an episode I'm giving up on currently. It's a segment we have been working on forever. It's not going to come out anytime soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Show some love to Brownie Heaven.
Yes. Oh yeah, we'll put
Definitely,
that in
yes.
the description below too. Oh my god. We'll put that in the description too. Thank you so much for watching. Peace. Bye-bye.
Yo, thanks for tuning into the latest episode of Just Baatein. We hope you enjoyed it and that it left you inspired. Thanks for all your support, and maybe you could support us just a little more by maybe going to our Instagram and Twitter and giving us a follow there. And also, you can listen to us on all podcasting platforms, right from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to Google Podcasts. Cheers.